I'm Steph, and this is Krista, and we're going to talk a little bit about squats today. So one of the most foundational movements in fitness, any fitness class, in yoga, and just everyday life, right? So we are squatting a lot. So let's break this down a little bit. Obviously, we're engaging our quads, our glutes, we're engaging our core, kind of our spinal stabilization when we're moving through that squat. But we want to talk about how everyone's squat looks different and that there's never necessarily a right or wrong way to squat, but it's finding what feels best for you and your body. So foundation of a squat though would be the feet. So we want to make sure our feet are probably hips width and maybe slightly wider. So Krista's about hips width, maybe a little wider. And then you might even have a situation where you or someone you see working out next to you or a client you're working with, their toes might even turn out a little bit, and that's okay. So if you have wider hips, your toes might tend to turn out a little bit in a squat. So then moving up the chain, we have our knees when we're moving through our squat. So if she is going into a squat, so I'm going to have you turn to the side, Krista. Let's just watch as she goes down and up and see how our squat looks. All right, so when she's going down, there's kind of an old myth saying that your knees have to stay behind your toes, right? So notice what that does for me specifically. My hips shift back, but my chest comes down a little bit. So Krista's squat, when she's at the bottom, her knees are going a little bit over her toes. Now, is that okay? Totally. Does this feel comfortable for you? Yeah, so that is kind of an old exercise myth that your knees need to stay behind your toes, because imagine squatting down to pick something up. You're going to go way beyond, right? So if you're coming all the way down into a low squat, obviously your knees are going to go over your toes. So let's also look at her breathing in a squat. So she's typically going to inhale down and exhale coming up. So coming down is the eccentric part of the movement, coming back up is the concentric part. So when she goes down, I'm going to have her hold and take a big belly breath. So she's inhale, expanding in the front and the back, and then exhale, she can stand back up. So we also kind of hear this, mentality of keeping our core engaged and always drawing in and up. Well, we can't expand and breathe into our squat if we're constantly keeping our belly sucked in. So we want to be able to essentially breathe in the bottom of that squat. So let your belly expand out in all directions and then use your exhale to come back up. So a lot of variations of squats. We can do a body weight squat like we just demoed. You can add weights if you want, but also keeping that good posture. So when she goes down, just watching kind of the rest of her body, hips and up, her spine, as she goes down and up. So she's got good posture, shoulders rolled back, she's engaging through the core. Now, depending on someone's body, they might have long femur bones like Krista, and their knees are gonna go a little past their toes. Or maybe they have short femur bones and they feel like they're leaning forward, right? Because they have a shorter body structure. So everyone's squat is gonna look different, and how low you get into a squat is gonna be different too, based on your structure, based on your flexibility in your ankles and in your hamstrings, and there's just a lot of variability that goes into it. So if you have questions about your squat and you wanna think about how it feels or take a look at your individual squat, we are happy to help you do that.